just said something about her. But if Arpit wanted to say the same thing about her, how would he say it?
You are thirsty.
I tells us about the first person singular. You tells us about the second person singular as well as plural. Now, if Hitesh wants to tell Arpit that Aditi is thirsty, then how would he do that?
She is thirsty.
He, she, and it tells us about the third person singular. We have learnt about the first person, second person, and the third person, but all the three singular forms. We should also, however, know the plural forms of all these three persons. With the help of a table, I am now going to show you the plural forms of all the three persons. Let us take a look at the slide before you. Plural forms of I, you, and he, she, and it. First person singular, I. First person plural, we. Second person singular, you. Second person plural, you. Third person singular, he, she, it. Third person plural, they. Friends, in the first part of this lecture, we have understood the importance of nouns. Nouns which are called sangya. We have understood the types of nouns, their definitions, along with a large number of examples and illustrations. Did you notice that all the examples and illustrations of nouns were taken from language that you and I use in our daily lives? When I talk about language in daily life, I should also talk about conversations taking place in daily life. This brings me to the second part of this lecture, which we have dedicated to conversations. How to greet people when you are meeting them probably for the first time. How to greet people when you have already met them and are now meeting after a long gap of time. What to say to a friend who disappeared for quite some time and has now come back again. These are various conversational role plays which we are now going to present before you, which will bring to your notice two very important facts. Number one, these role plays will exhibit how you should talk in the English language using daily life situations and using daily conversations. Number two, very importantly, pay attention to the pronunciations which the characters of our role play will perform. These pronunciations you should learn and you should start practicing those pronunciations right away. So come, my friends, let us have a look of the first conversational lesson that we are just about to witness. These 4 pieces of daily conversations will teach you how to greet friends, acquaintances, and other people in informal as well as in formal situations. So come, let us have a look at them.
Hello Arpit, how are you?
Hi, I'm fine. Thank you. And you?
I'm fine, thanks.
Good to see you again.
Friends, instead of "it's good to see you again," we can also say It's nice to see you again. It's wonderful to see you again. It's delightful to see you again. Or it's marvelous to see you again.
Hi Aditi.
Where have you been lately?
Well, I've been keeping very busy with quite a lot of work.
All of us have been quite busy too.
Yes, I've seen you after quite some time.
Oh.
Hello friends. Instead of using lately, we can also use this specific time period as well. Where have you been recently? Where have you been this past week? Where have you been the last month? Or where have you been since school finished?
Oh my god! Look who's here!
Are you surprised to see me?
Yes, surely. I thought you were in Delhi.
I was, but I got back yesterday.
Okay.
Friends, instead of I got back yesterday, we can also say I returned yesterday, I returned last Thursday, I flew home yesterday, I flew home last Thursday.
I am pleased to meet you.
The pleasure is mine.
I've heard Raj talk about you very often.
Only good things, I hope.
Instead of using I have heard him speak about you, we can also use the following. I have heard mention you. I have heard refer to you. I have heard inquire about you. I have heard compliment you, or I have heard describe you.
So, friends, did you watch carefully all the 4 role plays? Did you see that in each of these scenes that the kids enacted in the studio, you must have learnt a different way of greeting, number 1, and responding to a greeting, number 2. Just to take you back to those role plays once again, those role plays, each one of them did not teach you only the ways of greeting and responding, but each one of them also gave you a set of different options, a set of different alternatives, choices. Let's come to the first conversation, for example. What does it say? It's nice to see you again, wonderful to see you again, delightful to see you again, marvelous to see you again. So, gone are the days, friends, when we remain stuck to just one way of greeting. Language is changing tremendously, and therefore you have to learn the use of modern language. I hope that from this particular role play, you understood various ways of greeting somebody whom you have met after a pretty long time. Let's come to the second conversation. This is after 2 friends or 2 people meeting after quite a long gap, where the 2 friends had no news of each other. Again, look at the options. Where have you been recently? Where have you been this past week? Where have you been for the last month? Where have you been since school finished? A long time gap has passed between the time when the 2 friends meet again. So, these are another set of options that we have, wherein we learn to respond to somebody's greeting, and we also learn what to say to a friend who literally vanished, disappeared. There was no contact with that friend. You're meeting that acquaintance, rather. You're meeting him or her after a long time. This is how you respond. Uh, Let me come to the third role play, surprise. That is the watchword in this particular role play. Look who's here. After a long time, Aditi meets Arpit, and this is what he asks, aren't you surprised to see me? The little child did not know that her friend Arpit has come back from Delhi. Let us take a look at the slide. What does that say? Again, options. I returned yesterday. I returned last Thursday. I flew home yesterday. I flew home last Thursday. I hope, friends, we know very well flew home yesterday or flew home last Thursday clearly suggests that you took a flight. You flew back on an aircraft. You took a plane. But taking a plane is now outdated. So what do you use? Flew home. The same thing can be used for the future reference. I will fly home next week. But for the future greetings, we'll come later. Let's take a look now, just to recollect and refresh, at the fourth enactment which was done for us. What does this fourth enactment mean? Two people meeting in a pretty formal situation, meeting for the first time. There is pleasure on both the fronts, and one of the person telling the other one that she has heard another friend describe, talk about the first one. Again, take a look at the slide. So many options. I have heard him mention you. I've heard him refer to you. I've heard him describe you, inquire about you, and even compliment you. So, friends, what we have tried to do, what we have learned today, is how to exchange greetings when two people are meeting in A, formal situation, B, informal situation. Next time, dear friends, when you are meeting long lost friends, when you are surprised to see someone, when you have heard about someone and meet that person for the first time, remember these are the various available options for you to greet and also to respond. Next time, in our next lecture, we have taken greetings in this lecture. In our next lecture, we will also learn to say goodbye. For now, however, goodbye. Thank you.